Well, hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with the mighty Honda CRF300L on the beautiful island of Koh Samui in Thailand. Now, one of the biggest problems with the Honda CRF300L has been the standard tyres. So what I've done today is I've swapped the standard IRC trail tyres out for a set of brand new motocross tyres. So I thought the motocross tyres would probably be a bit more suitable to the type of riding that I want to do. Now, the problem with the standard tyres is, yes, they're a good compromise. They're great for on the road and a little bit of light off-road. But I have found the type of riding that I do, they're quite dangerous. So I'm going to be very interested today to see how they compare to the full-blown motocross tyres that I've put on this bike. And they are, at each end, a brand new set of... I forgot what they are. What are they? MX-53s. And I put a brand new set of motocross tyres on both the front and the rear of this bike. And what they are is a set of Dunlop Geomax MX-53s. Now, they are a pretty aggressive tread pattern, so I've really gone from one extreme to the other with these tyres. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they compare directly with the IRC trail tyres in exactly the type of terrain I've taken this bike on before. So enough talking, guys. Let's get out there on the mighty Honda CRF300L and see how it goes with a set of full-blown motocross tyres on it. Thanks for watching, and if you do like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you out there very shortly. Right, here we go. Start your engines. Get around the white dog and the green motorcycle. Nice one, new one. X-Max 300, that one. All right, got a little bit of riding on some, well, concrete road. Not far, just a couple of kilometres to get to the dirt. First thing I have noticed already is that the tyres do wander around a bit, just a little bit compared to the IRC trail tyres, but you sort of expect that with full-blown motocross tyres, and that won't be an issue for any of you guys that have ridden a motocross or on hard pack before, which I'm sure many of you have, or even an enduro bike for that matter. Motocross tyres really aren't that far off an enduro pattern. But just noticing now I've picked up the speed about 50 k's an hour, but yeah, that's sort of straightening out pretty good now. Feels a lot more stable. Tight left-hander here. Just taking our beautiful view. Chaweng airport over there, of course. We are going up there. Our first bit of canal, our first bit of tough, really tough uphill. Now, this is a really steep hill. I'm not too sure whether you'll see it through the camera. The DJI Osmo Action 3 starts off a little bit steep there, a little bit of a level out, and then goes up around a sharp right hand corner and a fairly savage slope all the way up. And it's all like this stuff. It is like really loose and lots of little stones in it, and bigger ones of course. Stuff like this, roll your tyre. I've had a lot of trouble getting up there in the past, and with the standard tyres, which are the IRC trail tyres of course. And yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how the knobby goes. This will be its first real true test. I've probably started with one of the hardest hills in this area first up. So anyway, I've never not got up it yet, even with the standard tyres on. But what I'm more interested in seeing is how much easier it goes up there with these tyres on, how much safer it feels and more predictable, because in the past I've just sort of even been just sort of paddling around. You know, there was no semblance of skill or style going up there, that's for sure. So I'm hoping that I might be able to improve a bit with these tyres, that's for sure. Anyway, we'll give it a go. We'll just start off in first gear because I've got no real run up here. The idea here is just to keep the power on. Really don't back off. You know, that's the trick here, just really keep the power on, as anybody who's done any enduro riding would be aware of. You back off, your history on these sort of hills. Oh look, I'm just going to stand up, this is just so easy. Yeah, look. Just stop so you can have a bit of a look back down it. Like, there we go. Yeah, that just levels out there, but I'll just actually, it's even difficult to walk down to show you. This bit is anyway. I'll grab hold of this. I think it's a banana tree, that one. Don't slip on this stuff, this is so slippery. There you go. So we were just down here to that sort of really sharp green tree is. Sharp. That strong coloured green tree. Anyway, where that big green tree is straight ahead of my hand. So we sort of come up around here, and that bit there is mega steep, and so slippery. I'll give you an idea in my hand if that helps at all. It's sort of like that, and you just got to get to that corner there and just keep that power on. Don't back off. If you back off to crawling speed, you're gone, and you really do not want to manhandle that bike back down that hill to have another go, because you definitely won't be going up, that's for sure. There's one thing about the Hondas, the CRF300Ls, is they do look very motocrossy, which gives you the false impression that they're a light bike, and they're not. Look, to ride them then, they're not too bad. Obviously the standard suspension is not up to the task, but that's been well covered in just about every video on this bike. You do feel the weight of this bike a lot when you actually have to manhandle it around, like even just to pull it backwards on a slight uphill, or to get it into position without the use of the engine. You really feel it. Anyhow, we shall continue on. We are definitely not done yet today. Got a few more bits of gnarl I want to try out. There's one coming up not far from here, it's only about 2 kilometres, that I came up last week and it was really dry. It's really dry today too. Nothing has changed, but I couldn't get up it last week. I was probably a little bit too cautious because I was just wearing shorts and runners, which I know I probably shouldn't have been, but I didn't actually intend to go up there. I just got the bike between my legs and basically headed into the jungle because I just got the urge to go for a ride. But which happens. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that probably done the same thing as me, where you just want to go for a ride basically. And what I was intending to do was just go down to the shop and back, and then I thought, oh, I might go up that hill. Oh, I might go a bit further. And then I realised that I'm really not dressed for it, and if I come off, it's going to hurt. It's going to take a lot of skin off. So yeah. So anyway, I had to go at that hill, and yeah, didn't make it. Got about halfway up. It was severely rutted out and slippery since last time, making the line choice really difficult. But I wasn't committed to it. Basically, that's what happened. I wasn't committed to it. And when you do that on a heavy bike with bad tyres that aren't suited to the terrain, you're going to pay the price. And I did. I was lucky. I just sort of went into a rut and stopped, and then had to manhandle it backwards. And trust me, that was an effort just to get it back down the hill. Anyway, let's go and have a look, see if we can do it today without any issues. Start the bike properly first. There we go. And away we go. Yeah, you sort of see the ruts in this one here. They're not very deep, but yeah. Oh, we're spinning a fair bit here. Got second, that's a bit better. A bit of weight over the back, I think. A little traction. The leg out. Alright, that was really skatey, really slippery. Alright, tyre pressures, I'm running about 13 psi at both ends. Should probably drop them down a bit, but these bikes haven't got rim locks. So for those of you who don't know what a rim lock is, it's basically it pulls the tyre tight against the rim. It's just a mechanical clamp basically. Looks a lot like a valve stem. It's got a big nut on it, and it stops your tyre spinning under power. Now, when you've got a lot of pressure in your tyres, I'll just explain it a bit more. When you've got a fair bit of pressure in your tyres, and I'm talking in excess of 10 pound, your tyre generally won't spin on the rim. Particularly on a bike like this, it hasn't got really that much power or torque. If you've got something that's got about 50 horsepower or more, you'll probably find that they'll almost always have rim locks. But there's the hill I'm talking about straight ahead before. We'll go up and have a look at that in a minute. Yeah, that weather's coming in. See the dark clouds coming in from over there. The Ute's about to have a go. Go and have a look at this actually. See how he goes up the hill. Is he going to go up the hill, or is he going to come back this way? I reckon he's going to come back. Yeah, he's coming back this way. Yeah. Oh, geez, that wind's picked up a lot. Wow, it's really wide. We've got a fourth gear. Go back to neutral. Cool. I'll just turn off for a second. Yeah, so basically with your rim locks, they're great for when you want to really drop your tyre pressure. I used to do a bit of dirt track, which for those of you who don't know, it's a bit like speedway on about a quarter-mile track with a dog leg in it. So you do need to use brakes. But the type of tyres you run there are sort of like trials tyres, more of a block pattern, but they're very low profile. And I'll just wait till this guy goes past in the truck, the Toyota, probably wondering what I'm doing. Johnny Cup. How are you? Good, good. Oh, no problem. I'm just doing YouTube and I'm talking bullshit. I thought you were going to go uphill. I was going to film you. Yeah.
He's my homie.
Yeah, you live here, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, so I. So I. Beautiful view.
You can see.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay,
Cup.
see you.
See you. Yeah, so back to what I was talking about. You're a lovely guy. So we used to run the trials tyres, and you run very low pressure in them, as low as you can go really, and that gives you a lot more grip and really predictable sliding. The more pressure you've got in your tyres, the more likely it is to break traction and slide, which you would think would be a good thing for sort of speedway, but there's a sort of a balance. You want as much grip and drive as possible, but still want to be able to slide the bike a fair bit, obviously, as well. And so ideally for this sort of stuff here, you'd be running, probably 7 or 8 PSI, I would think, in the, picked up a hitchhiker there, in boot. Not the type you want, if there was ever a type of hitchhiker you did want. I do digress. Yeah, so ideally you probably want to run about 8 PSI on this sort of stuff to give you the best traction. But the other problem with that is too that because it's so rocky, there's a lot of big rocks sort of sticking out of the ground. Not so much that one, but you know what I mean. You do seriously increase the chances of denting your rims and doing damage. So yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off sometimes. You've got to sort of have a good look at the area you're going to ride and sort of decide what you're going to do. One thing is it do you go all the way for traction, or do you go and try and save your rims and your bike? And yeah, it's not an easy choice. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos of America and Europe, just watching one on Spain this afternoon, itchy boots, and the sort of terrain that they were riding through, I mean, man, they were riding the big heavy Ducati ADV bikes. I'm not sure what's the name of them, but yeah, they were having a lot of difficulty navigating that terrain, and it was so rocky and they were heavy bikes. You definitely wouldn't want to have a bike like that running 8 PSI front and rear. You'd wreck your rims in no time. Anyway, let's go and have a go at this hill. I'm sort of been, yeah, the longer you wait for something sometimes, the more nervous you get. And yeah, it's just a matter of having a go, I suppose. Let's go do it. What gear we got second. I'll probably stay with that, I reckon. Okay, I've got to pick the lines here. Go back to first. Keep the power on no matter what. Yeah, good so far. Pick that up, stay the right hand side here. Yeah, good. Okay, I'll just stop here. The rest of it's fairly easy, to be quite honest. Let's go back down and I'll have a look at that one, just to show you. Yeah, I sort of wouldn't want to hit that at his speed. But yeah, you can sort of see, I don't know if you can tell by the camera, look, it's really rutted out, and you know, there's just, particularly down here, to go a bit closer because you won't see it on this camera, and it's difficult to zoom in. When you first approach this hill here, like, it's not that steep, it is, but it's not that bad, but it's really, really badly rutted. You get over here, you're gone. You get in that stuff, there's no way you're getting out of that no matter what. So you've got to sort of pick this line here. If you can get the centre one, all good, but the trouble with that with the trials tyres, and this is a good comparison between the motocross tyres and enduro tyres to the standard ones. If you're in that centre one, it's just got a slight camber off to the right of camera there, and the other way down further. If you can't hold that line, those tyres are probably going to slip off into these ruts, and then you've got nothing, you've got no traction. I came up this line here, you can sort of see my track here, right through, and I had no difficulty maintaining that line. I even decided to pick this rut here on the way up because I knew it was smooth and just a bit easier. I wanted to miss that rock up the right hand side there. So yeah, it's immediately, yeah, no issue, and I was a little bit nervous because I failed last time. So there you go. Great example of good tyres versus crap ones, basically. Okay, switch on. Well, it starts easy, this bike. I wouldn't even know if it had a choke. I've never even looked for one. Ooh, big misshift there. Alright, a little rocky downhill this one. Careful, lock the bike with my knees. Go for a gear higher. Just gas it basically. No problem whatsoever. We'll come back up this way and give this a go. Even despite the dog. This is almost motocrossy, this section, in that it's faster, quite rough, got a few jumps. This bike hasn't got enough power to take advantage of them, but we'll give it a go. What the heck? I'll actually start from in the bottom here, I think. Get a smoother run, I think. Oh yeah, let's go. There we go. Much more better. Here we go. Bit of trouble shifting into second gear there most of the time. Don't know if anybody else is having that issue. All right, fairly steep, but not that bad, that little section. What I do notice with this bike though is that if you back off just a little bit on a steep uphill like that to try and make up for just well, basically a little bit of dancing with the throttle as you need to do on pretty loose slippery surfaces like that, there's no coming back. Once you drop that power off, it takes, oh well, I wouldn't say forever, but it's probably the wrong term, but you just don't get it back. You just lose that momentum basically, and yeah, then you're not sort of going to get that speed up these sort of hills, which is probably just as well because the suspension can't handle it anyway, but it does take a bit of the fun out of it. Certainly seems to be a lot more predictable on the downhills and a bit safer, and we're just about to find out just how safe, because this one here is a ripper. Rita. Oh yeah, she's a beauty, this one. That's the slipperiest hill in the area by far. Had a lot of trouble with this with the standard tyres. Geez, that's a great view, isn't it? Wow. Australia's over that way. If you got it really high, you could probably see it on a clear day. No, I don't think you would. Not sure how many kilometres it'd be. 10,000? America? Would be that way? Well, it could be that way too, depending on which way you decide to go. UK and Europe would be that way. India, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Japan, Japan, China, Russia, of course. I'm not going to go through all the countries in the world. One more. Africa. There you go. The worst geography lesson you're ever likely to hear. And you didn't tune in for geography, I'm sure. So let's just go and give this little hill a go, shall we? Oh yeah, she's sliding. Even the back tyre's sliding now a bit, going down. I have a bit too much back brake on it. But yeah, already feel it's feeling a lot more confidence inspired going down here than I was before with the previous tyres. But it's going back up. It's usually an issue for me here. The last tyre, and I'll just turn around, I'll show you. Takes a nice hole, the motocross tyre. Yeah, particularly going up around this bend here, the IRCs just, every time you crack the throttle, it would just sprag out badly. I mean, and you really had to back off big time just to get it back into line. And then because you've slowed down, you lost that momentum, then you're just slipping all the way up a gnarly hill. So with these ones, you should be able to maintain a bit more momentum, a bit more forward speed. I'm pretty sure they're still going to slip out a bit. It's just bound to happen. The nature of this stuff is it's even difficult to put your foot down solid on an angle. But we'll give it a go. First gear start. Click it in second if we can. Yep, no worries that time. Back up a little bit for there. Oh yeah, straight away. Yeah, no problem. Alrighty. Yeah, quite a bit quicker, easier, and more importantly, safer. than doing it with the other one. But yeah, no, good, real good. Quite pleased with that. Oh, I just mud tested the tyres. Oh God, that bottomed out hard at the front. Oh, wow, that jarred right through my wrists, that did. Little short, steep pothole. Alright, now we're into that tough downhill. Okay. And this part I can do a bit faster, but another bit I'll slow down for. Just got to be picking your lines a bit more carefully. I'm a bit rusty too, guys. I haven't ridden a dirt bike for only a couple of months now, apart from just a brief little stint up here. Oh, just about lost the front end then. Just about lost it on the edge of that rut. Yeah, just caught the edge of that, like here. Oh, just losing my foot on that one actually. Just lost it like that. Slipped out, but managed to pull it back up without losing it. Otherwise that would have been a big dump, really would have been. Okay, and now, I would say, if that had been the standard tyres, I'd be on my arse now. And I'm not wearing any protective gear, by the way, because I usually don't push it very hard. But yeah, that could have been a broken arm, broken collarbone quite easily. Alright, we're going back the same way I came up before, and I've never done that before. I've never actually gone down this hill on this bike. This part's okay. Get a good view across the hills here. To give you no idea where we were, we just went right along that ridge line you can see up there. We went up that hill over there, past that house. That guy I was talking to earlier, that's his house. I can get a better view of it from here. Big new housing development going up on the edge of the hill down there. Quite a bit of development in Samui at the moment, going right ahead this island. A lot of people want to live here for good reason, it's beautiful. I'm literally, well, 5 minutes from home, and yeah, you've got all this riding country just that close, really. Oh, probably more than 5 minutes you've got to go down like stuff like this, but coming the other way it doesn't take too long. Which gives you an idea of how good I am going down hills. Like I said, I'm a bit out of practice, but I'm going okay. The worst is yet to come, actually. Or was that the worst? I'm not sure. Another view. Doesn't take me long to get up here. As you can see, I've got all this beautiful riding country that goes right through many, many kilometres of good trails. And beautiful scenic points just like this one. It's magnificent, it really is. Pretty warm every day. The only thing that varies really up here is the humidity. Of course, it's not too bad today. Pretty overcast. Probably get a little bit of rain later on. Expected it a bit earlier, but didn't come to anything, thank goodness. Well, not thank goodness, because it actually makes these tracks a lot easier to ride. As it soaks into the sand and gives it a bit more traction. Anybody who's ridden wet sand before will know what I'm talking about. It is not exactly what I'd say. I wouldn't say it's easy, but yeah, it's not mega difficult anyway. Alright, we're going back down this one, which I haven't ever done before. Actually, I think the one we just did before, which I've sort of never really given as much appreciation to, it's probably harder than this. Definitely more rudder there, that's for sure. This is fairly easy. To be quite honest. Just rolling down the first gear, back tyre slipping a bit. That's probably more to do to my lack of experience lately rather than anything. But no, it's alright, just cleared up the second gear, finish off down to the concrete here. No, easy, no worries at all, good. Gotta be careful here, a lot of loose stuff in the corner. Alright, there we go. Okay, we'll just switch off, have a quick yap. Alright, in summary guys, the Dunlop Geomax MX53 or more importantly, the whole idea of this, the concept of it, changing the trail tyres out for motocross tyres. What's my opinion? Was it worth it or not? In a nutshell, you've probably seen from the video so far, yes, but not to the degree I thought it was going to be. I'll add that in there. I'd actually expected them to be a lot better than they were. They're still quite skatey on this stuff. Yeah, I know it's fairly loose around here, but I did expect them to be a bit grippier than what they were. Just in that last 5 minutes of riding, I did nearly lose the front end on a downhill there. And I put that tyre there and I sort of thought that there's no way that's going to slip, and it did. But yeah, like I said, it is very slippery. So maybe I just sort of probably shouldn't have done that, but a lack of experience there, or a lack of practice more to the point. But yeah, not as impressive as I thought they would have been, but definitely a lot safer than the other tyres that were on the bike, the IRC trails. Now, one thing I will say too is that what those tyres have showed up with this bike, because this is very steep country here, so you need a lot of torque and a lot of power to get up a lot of these hills. This bike does it fairly easy. It does it no problem in first gear to climb up nearly anything here. Not nearly anything up here that you can reasonably have a go at, this bike will do in first gear. But second gear, not so much. But what I did find today, now that the tyres are getting a bit more grip, the back one of course, is that it's struggling to pull that extra gear to accelerate up the steeper hills. Second gear, it really labours in that unless you've got the revs right up. Third gear on most of the hills here, even with a bit of a run up, was just not an option. Well, carrying on with that theme of an idea, is it worth upgrading suspension on this bike? Because it really hasn't got the engine power or torque to propel it at that really high speeds anyway. So I'm sort of 50-50 on the edge with that one. I'm sort of, if you've got a heaps of spare money and you really like the bike, yeah, for sure, it's definitely going to be better. But for those of you that sort of, you know, $800 to $1,000 for a rear shocker plus whatever you're going to need for upgrading the front, is it really worth spending that extra money on if you're struggling to come up with the coin? I think no, I really do. I think just leave it, use it for what it is. There was only one really bad bump I hit today, which was a pothole. I'll put in the video if I can. It was just a short mud hole, only about 2 feet across, and the front end bottomed out completely badly. It probably wasn't that deep, but I hit it at about, I have to look at the speedo, probably hit it at about, I don't know, 40 k's an hour, which is not a lot, but it bottomed out hard and it jarred my wrists, both my wrists. And yeah, that's the sort of thing that you could benefit from a suspension upgrade in the front in particular. So look, I'd probably, for most of us Europeans, this bike is a Thailand model, obviously. It's got the soft suspension for the Thai guys and girls, and probably rated for somewhere a person around the 55 kilogram mark, maybe 60, I'm not sure. So if that's your weight, fine, great. You've got a bike that's perfectly suited for you pretty much straight away. But if you're not, if you're up around the 70, 80, 90, even 100, look, I'll tell you now, if you're 100 kilograms and you're thinking about pushing the bike a bit with a bit of speed, look for something else. Do not buy this bike. It's definitely going to, even with a suspension upgrade, it will be better, but your weight will just be too much for the engine. And it's just, yeah, and I think you'd be better off. You'd be better off with a second-hand bike with more power and probably more enduro orientated, which will have the better suspension already. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much my thoughts on the Honda CRF300L. Honestly, I've done a fair bit of riding. I've had probably some of the fastest dirt bikes that you can buy. Not probably, I have. And this one is a slug compared to those in just about every area. But having said that, anything between your legs and getting out into the jungle or the bush and the trails is fun anyway. But you know, this video is all about comparing, you know, one bike against another and what's value for money and what's not. And here we've got a very limited choice in Thailand of what we can buy at a reasonable price. The import duty on bikes like KTM's, Husqvarna's and so forth and so on, your Shercos, what else are we talking there? Betas, which are another really good off-road brand, of course. SWM, which I had in Australia, that'd be ideal. The import tax on those sort of bikes here in Thailand is just shocking. It's just unaffordable. These bikes are made here, that's why they've got the the cheaper price tag. We can pick these bikes up here for a couple of $1,000 less than what the Americans do, and Australians, of course, and of Europeans and UK and so forth and so on. So for us, they're actually not a bad buy. And I bought this one second hand and got another $1,000 or so off it from full retail anyway. And it only had, I think, about 400 kilometres on it. So it's had a few upgrades. It's had the handlebars put on it, which I don't particularly like that much. He's put on the stubby levers and the pack rack, which is handy, except for when you smack your knee into it when you're putting it over the back of the bike, which I did today. That doesn't tickle, trust me. So yeah, that's about it for today, guys. There'll be a few more videos coming out on this bike because a lot of you guys are interested in it, and that's all I've got to ride around here at the moment. Because yeah, unless I win the Thailand lottery, I won't be buying a KTM or anything along those lines, which I think I would absolutely love up here. Oh, Yamaha WR series, there's another good one. Anyway, as I said, guys, that's it for today. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I will definitely see you out there again very soon, hopefully. Thank you for watching.